Hey, Joseph59 here to teach you guys how to make this Keepsake box. The trim that I'm using is door and window casing poplar, and I purchased it at Home Depot. It's sold by the foot, so it depends on how much foot you need. I purchased 8 feet because I'm building 2 boxes. To make the groove on the bottom, where the plywood is going to sit into for the bottom piece, I've got my table saw blade set to the right height and my fence set to the right width. Now we're ready to make our first pass. For the second pass now, I just moved the fence in a little bit closer to make our groove fit our panel. And to make sure that your panel fits, I just have a scrap piece here just to make sure. And you just want to test it in to make sure that it's not too tight or too loose. I would say this is just perfect. I already added glue in this joint, and this joint. I just got this last joint here to do. And you don't want to put too much glue in, just enough. And I'm using Gorilla Glue just because when it does clamp together, you don't want too much squeeze out. So I'm just putting enough that will hold it in place. I'll put one in there, one here, and I'll do the same thing all the way around. Then I'll take the clamps off and apply one right at the bottom as well. For the top, I'm going to use Gorilla Wood Glue to glue up the 2 pieces of wood. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for 8 hours, but I'll come back in an hour to scrape off the excess glue. Sometimes you will get some burn marks after routering. The easy thing to do is just sand them out. I'm just using 120 grit sandpaper, just using a sanding block here, and just keep going back and forth. And it's pretty much gone. I'll take 400 grit sandpaper and I'll just sand all the edges down nice and smooth just so they're not sharp. And then for the actual box, I went ahead and puttied all the pinholes from the nail gun and just took 400 grit sandpaper and sanded everything down nice and smooth. The color that I used was Ralph Lauren Polished Patina. Now it is a very thick product, so I scooped them out, put them in a cup, mixed it up with water to make it thin like stain. I used a brush to apply it on, and it gave me more of that whitewash look because I still wanted to see the grain, but give it that sparkly look. I let that dry overnight. Then I applied a Varathane semi-gloss finish with a good quality brush I used and applied 3 coats on the entire project. To attach the lid to the box, I will be using a piano hinge, and to cut it in half, I just used my Dremel tool with the metal cutting bit, and once I cut it, like I said, in half, then you are left with the size that you need. And sometimes it can be a little bit sharp, so just keep in mind you can use 400 grit sandpaper just to sand all the burrs off. For adding the top, I did the same thing. On the hinges, I added double-sided tape, pushed down to make sure everything was all square. Then I slowly opened it up, and I've got some pieces of wood here on the back to make it nice and level. Then I already added my other screws in, and you just want to use a hole punch. For the bottom, I'm going to be adding some feet, and I am just using door hardware. You just want to take your template, line up on the inside of the corner. Then I just take the hole puncher and line it up where the center meets. Adding the knobs for the feet, I'm going to be using Gorilla Construction Adhesive Glue. And to apply it, I just squeezed it out of the tube and used a little bit of a toothpick and just to spread it around on the bottom and on the inside as well, which I have done. Then you just want to place it in here. So I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for 24 hours. I added some rubber bumpers in up at the top, just 2 I added. And I bought these at Lee Valley. These are the ones that I used. Also, I decided to use some fancy craft paper. I pasted in at the bottom here. I just thought it would give it a more decorative look. Now you're ready to put in your favorite memories so you can go back and take a look at them. Thanks for checking out this video. All links are in the description below for this video. Definitely subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to share this video and post your comments below. Some of the best tips and feedback come from you. Thanks for watching.